Maddie from Hello Interloper here. Before I get started on today's current events, I just wanted to quickly tell you guys not to worry. I know I've been uploading a lot of Skyrim and unrelated things lately, but don't worry. I do have a World Battle Coliseum guide currently in the works. I'm working on the script. I have footage filmed, so I will be putting it together very soon. So just in case you guys were worrying that I'm getting distracted, don't worry. I still have stuff in the works for Blood Brothers. I just have a lot of time on my hands this weekend. So, anyway, let's talk a little bit about the current event, World Battle Coliseum. In my last current events, I was dreading World Battle Coliseum, especially because the first incarnation of it was so messy and dreadful. Thankfully, it's back and it's finally streamlined, and all the really big problems I had with it have been fixed. Um, I'll tell you a few of the differences I've noticed, and also talk about the rares, the legendaries, and the elites in this little episode. Um, One thing that they've finally fixed, and I was really against World Battle Coliseum the first time because of this problem. Every time that I was in an arena and the arena was conquered or time ran out, I would lose morale if I was in the middle of a PvP battle. Thankfully, this does not happen anymore. If that happens, you keep that morale, therefore saving your bugles and not wasting them. Another thing that has been changed is the fact that you no longer represent your warlord's race. There are teams, but they have a little crest that is completely unrelated to the warlords. I thought that was a little bit interesting. So, anyway, in other news, there have been some other changes, including the introduction of elites. Now, personally, I think the introduction of elites to this event is kind of stupid, especially with the very inconsistent dealing of event coins. You kind of get event coins from certain point rewards, and they are not really clear on how to get it any other way. I haven't really gotten any from doing certain actions, so it's a little bit confusing. Also, the drop rates for these elites is so incredibly low. You get one of these elites, this guy over here, and I'll talk more about him later. You get one of these guys from getting 500 points, and then you really don't see any more of these guys, and it's kind of odd. Also, you can only have two elites on your team, so pretty much the only way to get these elites, unfortunately, is to pay, and that's very disappointing. Now, on the other hand, there are bonuses, which could be kind of nice if you are a spender, seeing that this guy's attack and stats altogether would be multiplied by 2 if you had him on your team. Um, Nothing much else has changed, but I'll quickly go over the reason why I don't like these elites. And let's look at Galago's Giant Ape. He's the one that you get for getting 500 points, and then you kind of can't get any more of him unless you get event coins or pay. Now, I will zoom in over here onto his stats, and as you can see, his base stats are pretty ridiculous. Usually you don't see any base stats over, about maybe like 2.7k. So, usually when they do have over 2k in base stats, you know that when fully evolved they will have over 10k stats. This definitely isn't the case. For Galagos, when he levels, he gains extremely little stats per level, and as you can see, the max really isn't all that different from the base. In other words, he levels very oddly. Now, I will go and we'll look at Galago's Dino Hunter, and you can see this strange, inconsistent stat gain in the perfect evolution. See, he really doesn't have anything that reaches 10k, meaning that his initial stats of about like 3k for every stat seems very inconsistent and very odd. He really does not gain a lot of stat per level, and I find that extremely disappointing and just completely out of line with any other familiars we've seen thus far. But either way, he's really not a good familiar outside of this event. His attack is fairly okay, his agi is okay, but when we look at even the bosses in a special dungeon event, they have at least one of their stats 10k or over. This guy doesn't even have that. So he does have charge, which is not exactly that great. It is a 120% attack modifier, and it deals attack-based damage to 3 foes regardless of position. So it's really not that great. It's the same ability that we see with Coco Gorilla Bandit. Really not that impressive. Now we have the improved elite, which is Donga Tiger Rider, and we can see, once again, this very strange, inconsistent stat gain per level. And although he has better stats overall than our good friend Galagos, he's still not that great. If we see Donga the Exterminator, after this event is over, he has 2 stats that are over 10k, but he really does lack in wisdom. He's got a kind of a lower defense. He's not really that impressive. Now, he does have Binding Arcana, which has only been previously seen in a legendary, Kagemaru, I guess that's how you say it, Kagemaru, Master Ninja. But it's a 100% attack modifier, which means that it does the same amount of damage as the attack. Sometimes deal 4 physical strikes, but sometimes silence foes. The silence is a 30% chance. So it's not really that great, but it could be useful in some senses. Still, not too impressive. Now, we finally get to the reward that we'll get for ranking. You also get one of these guys if you reach 250,000 points. You can see he has a normal stat gain, which is, oh wait, sorry, I made a mistake here. This is the legendary. Okay, sorry about that. This is the legendary. He has a normal stat gain, as you can see. We're not going into strange elites here. Once again, I'm very sorry about that. But as you can see, he has a high attack. So another high attack legendary. Grandor Giant of Old 2. Here he has some nice stats. Pretty high attack. But very low agi, as is expected from a giant. He has Spiteful Strike, which is a brand new ability. It is 100% attack modifier, aka it does the amount of damage of his attack. Sometimes, deal damage to all foes, and sometimes lower defense. Sorry about that, kind of a bit of a mouthful. And, so, pretty interesting. It's a 30% chance to lower defense, so once again, it's not surefire. But still pretty interesting, seeing that his attack might actually bring up a gateway to doing more damage to whatever is remaining after that attack. So now, sorry, we do go to the guy that you get for 250,000 points, and that is Tunic, Northern Colossus. You can kind of see why I made the mistake I did. They kind of are alike. They're both giants, and actually, personally, I think this guy looks more impressive. Just me. That's why I got mixed up. But as you can see, yes, the normal stat gain here. So it seems that the elites are the only ones with this strange stat gain that really bothers me. But he's interesting because he has another one of these new abilities, and he's got a really high attack, but strangely a low defense, and we don't usually see this with any giant types. And he has, of course, a very low agi, which is completely understandable. But his attack here is kind of interesting and may be used very well on a warlord for add skill. It's called Grin and Barrett, and you survive a devastating damage attack as long as HP is above 50, meaning that probably if it was a one-hit kill, it won't be a one-hit kill. You'll survive it, probably with 1% health, if my guess is correct. But it might be good for warlords, so it's worth a shot. But simply put, 250,000 points in this event is extremely easy to attain. Seeing that most people are gonna enjoy this event because it's fairly new, we're probably gonna be completely flooded with these guys once this event is done. So there's gonna be a lot of these in the economy. They're probably gonna go down in price extremely a few days after the event is over. There's always the after event hype where prices are a little bit overinflated for event things, but he'll probably go down in price a lot. So if you needed something to teach your warlord, might be kind of interesting, especially because that means that your warlord probably will not die in one strike in any given situation. So that's about it. Kind of interesting to see how this plays out. We're only on day 2 of World Battle Coliseum, so hopefully we'll see some things change within the next one. I kind of would like to see the elites go, or perhaps just a few more of them given out as point rewards. But, oh, and one more thing before I go. The confusing rewards. Here we go. So, as you can see, Galago's giant ape is given to team rank 1, which is confusing because I've never received one. I was, on day 1, ranked number 2 within my team, yet somehow I didn't get one, even though we were the number 1 team. It doesn't really make much sense. I did get I think I got bugle and 3 silver coins, which really makes no sense because our team was number 1 and I was number 2 ranked, so I really don't know if there was an error or something went awfully wrong. But either way, then we got the overall rewards, and we're going to see that the top 30,000 is going to get a tunic. So yeah, speaking of flooding, there's going to be a lot more flooding. At least, you know, all these guys are going to get one, and then including people who don't rank that high who get that much, it's pretty much going to be a mess. So, yeah, that's about it. Sorry for all the mess ups in this video. Kind of flustered, especially since I'm currently working on the guide. So, until next time, I'll hopefully be a little more less befuddled.